Glenn Anderson is no stranger to controversy. His struggles with alcohol and fiery temper have always grabbed attention, but it was his suspension that really turned heads. The incident with Ulf Samuelsson, where Anderson was involved in a brutal boarding, left fans and players alike stunned. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out. Anderson wasn't exactly known for playing it safe on the ice. He had a hard-nosed, aggressive style that often landed him in the penalty box. He was never shy about throwing his weight around or dropping the gloves, and sometimes that intensity led him to cross the line into dangerous territory. While that gritty approach helped him succeed, it also brought plenty of criticism and even suspensions. One of the most talked about moments came in the 1991 Stanley Cup Finals, when Anderson was handed a suspension for Game 4 after a boarding incident with Pittsburgh Penguins defenseman Ulf Samuelsson. The suspension sparked debate. Some people thought it was a bit too harsh, especially considering how physical the series was. Then there's the infamous moment from 1993 when Anderson was playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He boldly guaranteed a Game 7 win in their playoff series against the St. Louis Blues. The Leafs ended up losing that game, and Anderson became the target of a ton of criticism and mockery from both fans and the media. Talk about a prediction gone wrong, but it wasn't just the on-ice drama that made Anderson's story complicated. He also dealt with some personal demons off the ice. He struggled with alcohol issues throughout his career, and those challenges sometimes affected both his performance and his personal life. Despite everything, though, Anderson's legacy in the NHL remains unforgettable. He may have had his fair share of controversies, but he was always a player you couldn't ignore. Anderson's career wasn't just about his controversies, it was also filled with some seriously impressive achievements that make his story even more inspiring. He kicked off his junior hockey days with the Bellingham Blazers in the British Columbia Junior Hockey League during the 1977-78 season. In just 64 games, Anderson racked up 62 goals, 69 assists, and 131 points, putting him among the top players in the league. His incredible performance earned him a spot on the BCJHL's second All-Star team, capping off what was his only season in the league. The following year, Anderson took his game to the University of Denver, joining the NCAA hockey team for the 1978-79 season. It didn't take long for him to make an impact. He played in 41 games and led the team with 55 points. His impressive play didn't go unnoticed, and he was quickly climbing the ranks. In the 1979 NHL entry draft, Anderson was picked by the Edmonton Oilers, going 69th overall. But before making his mark in the NHL, he made a big decision to represent Canada at the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid. Team Canada's coach, Father David Bauer, played a huge role in Anderson's development. Anderson often credited Bauer as a key influence in shaping his career. During the Olympics, Anderson and the team toured the world, playing different opponents in preparation. That experience was invaluable, and Anderson's skills improved dramatically. He ended up scoring 4 points in 6 games, marking another big step forward in his journey. Anderson's journey with the Edmonton Oilers was filled with highs, lows, and unforgettable moments. After the Canadian national team program ended in 1980, Anderson had a big choice to make: return to the University of Denver or join the Oilers. He chose the latter, and it didn't take long for him to make his mark. In his rookie season, he scored 30 goals, had 23 assists, and 53 points in just 58 games. The Oilers made the playoffs that year, even pulling off a huge upset by defeating the Montreal Canadiens in the preliminary round. They went on to face the New York Islanders in the quarterfinals, but were knocked out in 6 games. Despite the early exit, Anderson's 12 points in 9 games during the playoffs showed he was a fierce performer when it mattered most. His second season was even better, setting career highs with 67 assists and 105 points. The Oilers moved from 4th to 1st in their division, but they faced a tough blow in the playoffs. In 1983, though, Anderson and the Oilers bounced back, clinching the division title once again. He had a career-high 54 goals that year and made his first All-Star appearance. The Oilers made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, where they finally took down the Islanders, ending their dynasty and starting their own. Anderson's success continued into the mid-'80s. In 1984, he signed a huge 8-year deal with the Oilers and helped them win the Cup again. The team won the finals in 5 games against the Philadelphia Flyers, and Anderson set a career high in assists during that playoff run. The following season, he hit 54 goals again, and in 1986, he reached 50 goals and 100 points for the second time in his career. His success on the ice didn't stop the Oilers from facing setbacks, though. Despite another strong season, they were eliminated in the division finals in 1986, but that didn't hold Anderson back. The Oilers bounced back in 1987 to win their third cup, with Anderson setting career highs in goals and points during the playoffs. However, the Oilers couldn't capture the division title in 1987-88, but Anderson still had a solid season with 88 points. That same year, he faced personal tragedy when his close friend George Varvis passed away unexpectedly. Anderson used that heartache to fuel his game and helped the Oilers win their fourth cup with a remarkable 25 points in the playoffs. In 1990, the Oilers went on to win their fifth cup, defeating the Boston Bruins in 5 games. Anderson's leadership and consistent play made him one of only 7 players to be a part of every Oilers championship team. In 1991, with the Oilers looking to rebuild, Anderson was traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs in a blockbuster deal. But his time with Edmonton left a huge legacy. Over his career with the Oilers, Anderson scored 417 goals, 489 assists, and 906 points, ranking 3rd, 4th, and 4th, respectively, in franchise history. His 183 playoff points and 126 power play goals still stand as franchise records, cementing his place as one of the greatest to ever play for the Oilers. Anderson's time with the Toronto Maple Leafs and beyond was full of ups and downs, but it added some memorable chapters to his career. He spent a couple of seasons with the Leafs, putting up back-to-back 20-goal seasons and hitting a big milestone, his 1,000th career point. During the Leafs' 1992-93 playoff run, Anderson played a crucial role, tallying 18 points in 21 games. One of his most memorable moments came in the Western Conference Finals when he scored an overtime goal in Game 5 against the LA Kings, giving Toronto a 3-2 series lead. Unfortunately, that ended up being their last win of the season. The following year, in 1993-94, Anderson played 73 games for the Leafs before being traded to the New York Rangers for Mike Gartner. In New York, Anderson reunited with several former Edmonton Oilers teammates, including his good friend and line mate Mark Messier. The Rangers were a powerhouse that year and made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Facing off against the Vancouver Canucks, the Rangers won the series in 7 games, marking their first Cup victory since 1940. Anderson, who had been quiet in earlier rounds, came through big in the finals, scoring 3 goals, including 2 game winners. That Cup win marked Anderson's 6th, solidifying his legacy. Then came the 1994-95 NHL lockout, which took Anderson overseas. He played with Augsburger Panther in Germany, Lukko Rauma in Finland, and even joined Team Canada for international play. Once the lockout ended, Anderson signed with the St. Louis Blues as a free agent. He played a total of 42 games in the regular season and playoffs with the Blues, but didn't re-sign after the season ended. Anderson's love for international competition was clear. His first Olympic experience came in 1980 during the Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, where he helped Team Canada finish 6th, recording 4 points in 6 games. He credited the training for improving his skills, which would later benefit him in the NHL. Anderson also competed in the 1984 and 1987 Canada Cups, with Canada winning the 1984 tournament and coming out on top in a thrilling series against Sweden. In 1987, Canada took on the Soviet Union, with all 3 games in the final series needing overtime. Anderson played a key role, contributing 3 points to Canada's victory. His international career didn't stop there. Anderson also played in the 1989 and 1992 World Championships, helping Canada secure a silver medal in 1989. In 1994, he wanted to compete in the Winter Olympics again, but his attempt was blocked by a new NHL rule that prevented players with over a year of NHL experience from participating. He had negotiated a clause with the Leafs allowing him to play for Canada, but the NHL's decision not to release players for the Olympics was met with outrage. Canada went on to win silver, but Anderson was left disappointed as his Olympic dream was dashed. And that wraps up today's video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. We'll catch you in the next one. See you soon.